Hey guys, welcome to Shonnie's World. So, I have been a little busy, but I have not forgot about YouTube and my commitment to upload videos, and I'm going to try to do so weekly. But I'm trying to work that out of my schedule and trying to get used to putting on this whole production. I feel like YouTube now has um, compared to when I started a long time ago, it's like this whole thing. Like there's, you gotta have the right camera, the right lighting, the right video editing software, and there's so much into putting on this whole putting up videos if you want it to have some quality. And in the past, I didn't really put too much into it. I'm not saying I didn't care, but I just kind of like, hey, this is me. But now I am trying to put out I'm trying to make some quality content here, and I also want to make it interesting. So today's video is going to be about Duolingo. If you are in the language learning world, or you might not even be in the world immersed into it, but you might have heard of Duolingo. Duolingo is an app where it makes language learning like a game. So you will start off, you earn coins, or I think they're gems, but you have these gems that you can earn. You have crowns, which I haven't quite figured out what the crowns are for. And then you also have these streaks, and it's like little competitions to keep you engaged, which when I first got on Duolingo, I was like, oh, this is a cool way to supplement my Spanish. And I don't know, I got really bored because I got tired of translating, the boy drinks milk, the girl drinks milk, the girl eats an apple. And I mean, especially when you've already got a background in Spanish, I mean, that stuff is like elementary. So like, I quickly lost interest, and then I didn't really understand how it worked and how to like move through like each level and everything. So I quickly put that to the side. Not quickly, I mean, I had like 4,000 gems, so apparently I was doing something, but it wasn't engaging enough for me to keep going. So I deleted the app. I downloaded Busuu, which is another app, and it actually worked out pretty good. I liked it. It was engaging and everything. And but then I found myself kind of like sliding off a little bit. It's easier to go a day or two without doing anything, especially once the hype of learning more. And I seem to hit like this plateau of when I get to a certain level, especially in Spanish, like I tend to kind of stop. And I don't know if it's because I'm, a little nervous about going into something more tougher, or if the grammar gets a little bit more difficult. But I always get to that point where I'm a very, very great beginner learner of Spanish. Like the beginner stuff, I'm good. The more complicated things, that's where I start to get a little distracted, and then kind of put everything to the side. In learning Portuguese, I wanted to find a good supplement. I added it to my Busuu app, and I started working my way through there, and I'm like, this is cool, but I would like to build my vocabulary a little bit better and everything. So what happened, and I added it to my LingQ account too, so I can read in Portuguese, beginner Portuguese. And I mean, I was doing that was cool, but then I was like, what, let me try Duolingo, like from scratch, doing Portuguese. Well, I downloaded it added the course of Portuguese to my Duolingo, and I found myself actually doing that like every single day. And the drills, participating in the challenges, and the bonus XP if you can do your lessons, and for 30 minutes, everything, your XP points, you would get double, or maintaining your streak and earning extra gems, which at first I was kind of like, I don't care about these gems, I don't know what to use them for, but I just use them mostly to refill my hearts if I lose my hearts quickly, or I'll use them to save my streak. So I started doing Duolingo again. So I was kind of shocked, and they have changed a lot of things. So if you have any experience of Duolingo before this whole update, and I'm going to call it an update because when I was on it, these things weren't always, well, I didn't know to look for them. So this is like my little mini review of Duolingo and why I'm now an advocate of Duolingo. Now, Duolingo alone will not teach you a language to fluency. I still believe it doesn't. It is a great, however, supplement to whatever your main way of learning a new language. So, first thing, Duolingo introduces you to new vocabulary. Some of the vocabulary that I first got introduced to under Duolingo, I kind of knew from the Busuu app, because that's how I started learning Portuguese. I started under my Busuu app. And so because of Duolingo, like I kind of, I learned some new vocabulary that, I didn't know at all. And then some I knew because of my Busuu app. And I got introduced to grammar, but the way I got introduced to grammar was different. And it was different because, for instance, like I would do, like the girl drinks milk, okay? So then you'd say, I got introduced to the articles, the a and the o, so a menina, leche, I messed up already. A menina, bebe, leche. And I had to think about it because I don't really like speaking in the camera when I'm like trying to practice and I'm not 100%. But if I learn indirectly, it starts taking you through how to conjugate verbs in Portuguese. And the good thing about having a background in Spanish is that you begin to learn the endings and see the similarities. And so like bebo is still bebo in Spanish. Bebe is still bebe in Spanish. But in Portuguese, bebe is for the você. And I might, my accent isn't as strong in Portuguese. I'm still working on that. But the você tense and ela, and I'm missing one. I might have all three of them. But the he, she, it, and you tense. So it's all the same, which makes it, easy. Not that the two form in Spanish was hard, but it makes it a little bit easier to remember the conjugations. And then once you get that down, it takes you to the plural version. So for a while there, you're just doing she drinks, he drinks, the dog said, the dog has. So then you learn the verb to have. And then so, indirectly, it's not really saying, okay, this is the verb to have, and this is all the conjugations. It's actually, having you already conjugate without telling you you're conjugating, which is actually cool because then you start to notice the pattern. And then it also has a tips section where it takes you through and kind of explains the grammar and the differences in the way things are pronounced. So that was new. So then I started thinking, like, you know what? Maybe that is why, like, I use iTalki as well. I haven't used it in a while, but I'm going to start back up. And my iTalki, the first iTalki instructor that I had, it was for Spanish, and she wanted me to conjugate, or she wanted me to do basic, things like conjugating my verbs and using L and having a brain glitch, but she wanted me to use my articles and my conjugations, just practicing, getting used to it, or using una, unas, uno, or unos and stuff like that. Like she wanted me to keep practicing that stuff, and she explained it. She said because the more you would practice it, the more it becomes like the back of your hand, and then when you're talking, you're not looking up at the ceiling going una mujer, or whatever. You're not focused on the article or the things that come before, so you already have that in the back of your head. And it's like, okay, the only reason why I didn't reschedule another lesson was because I think around the time I was taking classes, and it was just too much at the time, and I just kind of like faded off. And then I tried out another tutor, and we really clicked really good, and so and then I just stuck with her. But then I kind of fell off of that too because I ended up having an injury to my shoulder, yada. But so anyway, so I'm getting back up and going. But the thing is, I'm now focused on Portuguese. So that's another thing I like about Duolingo. It runs you through the conjugations, the verbs, and the conjugation of the verbs and the articles and everything. So it's like second nature. And then you get a whole bunch of practice. You practice, you practice, you practice. And you can test out. And as you get past the first level, the first tree level, like it goes quicker. So like the first time you ever open it up, it takes you like halfway around the circle as you like, navigate it, and a little bit more as you pass that level. But once you get further down, once you pass a level, it just bumps you up to the second level, which is a lot more better. So another aspect that they have is stories. So they're short stories, and you get to read the stories, you get to listen, you get introduced to new vocabulary again, and you can tap it, and then it also checks for comprehension. So that bonus was like awesome, because if you listen to any of the other polyglots, like Olly Richards, Steve, I forget his name. I just watched one of his videos, but he's the creator of LingQ, and those are the two main ones that I pay attention to, and they always talk about reading and listening. Even if you don't do anything else, you should read and listen in your target language, and that will help your fluency. And help you build the vocabulary. You will learn grammar. You'll just absorb it, and then when you get intrigued and you want to learn something more, then you can always go into the books or whatever to learn more about that grammar point. But for the most part, you're supposed to just read, and listen. Listening and reading, that's two big things. So if you haven't heard of them, look up Olly Richards. He's on YouTube. He also has a podcast called I Will Teach You a Language, and I listen to his podcast. I mean, I still have a whole bunch of episodes. There's like 300 episodes. And for a while there, I started from the very beginning and I worked my way up. I mean, he's really easy to listen to. I like his advice that he gives. Like, he's just awesome. So yeah, definitely check him out if you get a chance. So another thing about Duolingo is that it's engaging. I'm not a gamer. I mean, I am a little bit, but not enough to where I'd be like, oh yeah, Duolingo. But I'm actually, I don't want to lose my streak. I want to be promoted to the next league. So, and it's something small, but I'm like, if I don't have time to crack open a book, if I don't have time to get on LingQ or Busuu, I don't feel like it, I can get on Duolingo and maintain my streak or try to get so many XP points so I can get promoted and be just fine. So it keeps me engaged and keeps me going. So I kind of, get that competitiveness in me again in a different way. And I'm on a 16-day streak. So I do want to show you guys me doing the app. I mean, if you already use Duolingo, you could probably skip that part. But if you're new to language learning, or if you are like wondering if you should add Duolingo to your list of resources, it's a good preview to it. I'll take you through the app a little bit and show you what I do. I like it. It gives you a chance to speak. It gives you a chance to listen and type what you hear. So it's a good app. They've really updated it since I last have been on it, and I like it a lot. So that's my review of Duolingo. Definitely check it out, download it. I promise you I won't steer you wrong. And if I do, I'm sorry. But this is just my personal experience, my journey, and what has kept me so far consistent with, if I don't do nothing language related, I'm doing either Duolingo or I'm listening to how to better my language learning journey, which is motivation in itself. So it's learning a language doesn't happen overnight. It's something that you will do, every single day, even after you become fluent or conversationally fluent. It's something that you have to continuously work on just to maintain. So with that said, that is the conclusion of this video. I hope you stuck around to the end of it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, like this video, and hit the notification button if you want to know about any other videos that I come out with. I have some other content that I plan on putting out as well, so definitely stay tuned.
As meninas são boas. As chaves não são grandes.
É grande.
O leão não é grande. Ele é um bom menino. Ellie é boa menino. Ele é
boa cerveja. Nós somos bons. Nós somos bons.
Ele é um bom menino. É uma boa cerveja.
O leão não é grande.
As nossas chaves são boas.
As chaves não são grandes.